hope we have all been inspired by a story which we call PS 121 that many of our partners and associates know about, and that's a story about a man called Eugene Lang in New York, who grew up in Harlem and became a very successful industrialist. And one day he was giving a prize-giving speech at that school in Harlem called PS 121. And he had an inspiration because he was totally distressed that the kids in the school, this was a primary school, standard 5 as we call it here, very few of them finished school. In fact, roughly 20% would finish school. None of them ever went on to college, and most of them dropped out. And by that time, PS 121 was in a ghetto, very disadvantaged kids. And he just had an inspiration. He said to these kids, a 12-year-old, if any of you want to go to college, I'll pay for it. And that had a dramatic effect on the school, because of that class, practically every child finished school. About 40% of them went on to university, to college. And it was just that change of vision for those kids that made all the difference in the world, because they saw that something that they never thought was possible had suddenly become possible or attainable.
Our DreamBuilders program is aimed at helping young people to be optimistic and hopeful about their future in our country. This program, implemented in 10 schools in South Africa and implemented by the Institute of DreamBuilders, teaches grade 10, 11 and 12 learners principles to help them understand themselves better.
The program has 3 phases, and what it really is it first looks at the fact that a child has got potential, and because of that they're able to start dreaming beyond impossible. And then secondly, the second phase looks at them finding their place of most potential. And then lastly, we endeavor to create nation builders out of them. How we do this is we go through it in several units. In the first phase, we look at about 6 units where, for an example, we look at potential. We look at some of the potential limiting habits and belief systems that we have as people. And then after that, we take them through a journey of trying to find a way of actually fighting these limiting habits or attitudes, whatever it is that they may be. And then through this process, we hope that then at the end of the whole 3-year program, they'll be able then to find their place of most potential.
We conducted an assessment with grade 10 learners in a group of high schools. And what has become apparent is that although a lot of young people actually do have goals and have dreams for their future, one of the reasons why they don't necessarily achieve their goals is because of the insurmountable obstacles that they face in their life and the conditions that they grow up in, that often is the difficulty in actually achieving those goals. And that's where our program comes in, is where we actually help them, teach them the skills, and also to help them build strength and character to actually face these obstacles and still overcome them.
Well, I have had so many children who've come up to me and they've said thank you. You know, sometimes you'll find that on that day when we finish the program, they'll say thank you so much because you have shown me that there's more to my life than what I thought there was. Some are going through really tough times, but they've said at least this has shown me that I can actually overcome what I've gone through.
There is no words to describe how it makes you feel. It taps into your subconscious, making you realize that your potential is so much more than you actually make it to believe.
The DreamBuilders program is aimed at training life orientation educators to become inspirers to the learners in their schools and to turn the school into an inspirational place where young men and women strive to identify and develop their potential to the best they can be in life, and to have a can-do attitude, and to look towards others to see where they can support and serve in our society.
Yeah, with this program, I think really it injected some enthusiasm, some energy, and it is exactly what we needed to take education, and particularly in our environment, to take it a little bit forward, so that everyone knows that within this program there is an opportunity for me either to study or to get work after school, and then therefore they become a little bit more focused in terms of what they're doing every day.
They've taught me how about potential, how much I can use. I can be anything that I want to be, whatever I set my mind on, and nobody can stop me, only I can stop myself.
A priest was walking through a construction site many, many years ago in the time of the Renaissance, and he comes across 2 gentlemen who are working on this construction site. So he stops, takes a breath, and he says to these 2 guys, "What are you doing?" And the one guy says, I'm chipping stone. And the other guy looks up and says, I'm building a cathedral. And here's two people doing exactly the same job. One guy chipping stone, the other guy essentially chipping stone as well, but one guy sees it as just chipping stone, and the other guy sees it as building a cathedral. And our passion in the DreamBuilders program, understanding the scenario and the context of South African education moment, is to get people to shift their thinking from I'm chipping stone into I'm building a cathedral, and to love life on that journey. And